online learning helps enhance your self-discipline skills and make you more responsible. You learn how to more efficiently manage your workplace and how to make your schedule more efficient. This can help you become more self-motivated to fulfill your tasks and projects and even to involve yourself in additional ones. For instance, students and teachers can opt for a large variety of free or low-cost online learning and professional development courses that can help you master any skill in any domain or topic. By taking an online course, you can really focus on the subject you are interested in and have the freedom of choosing from the wide range of online courses and programs from all over the world, according to your interests and necessities. So what are the conclusions then? In a nutshell, getting into online learning wasn't easy for most of us, but it pays the effort. Even if some of us don't like what or how are we doing it, we must face the reality as online learning is the best option we have right now until the pandemic ends. According to Abhinav, online learning is not the next big thing, it's the now big thing. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Ciprian. So very good points made about, especially about having lots of time at hand, yes, and having lots of time to devote to your hobbies and the activities that you have not done before, yes. Do you have any questions? Do not forget about the chat. Yeah. So yeah, somebody likes your presentation. Michael likes your presentation. Yeah. Okay, so very good. Yeah, really it was to the point. And okay, so very good, Ciprian. You have made, yeah. Okay, everybody has done a very good job. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so good. And now I'm going to share my screen now and see. So sorry, I guess you have nothing against the fact that we are recording. I forgot to start the recording from the very beginning. That's why. Yeah, okay. So now let's see. The next one is Andrea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrea, you're welcome.
So, hi everyone. I'm Andrea, a student in the 10th grade at the Republican Theoretical High School Aristotle. I'm sure that this global pandemic has affected us all, putting us through tough, challenging times. And this virus has turned our lives upside down and has destroyed our balance basically overnight. It all happened so fast that we didn't really acknowledge it at first. For us teenagers, or most of us anyways, this was an opportunity to stay at home, as we were eager for some days of school with fewer responsibilities and not having to wake up at those early hours like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., depending on everyone. It seemed like a great life. So we went on like this for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and so on. And the quarantine was continuously extending, never really going away. We started to feel the repercussions of the virus, and we've come to the conclusion that spending too much time drives you crazy, with parents at home telling you what to do, brothers, sisters annoying you. And also, we staying at home, we tend to create this, to develop this social shield that prevents us from interacting with others as well as we did before the quarantine. And this so-called break came with this, with its disadvantages, such as the prohibition of leaving your homes without having a good reason to do so, or we had to wear the masks everywhere, and it's a known fact that the masks are pretty damaging for our health. It protects us from the virus, but it also damages our health, creating illnesses and so on. And we couldn't see our friends, and we were sitting in our rooms in front of a computer every single day, and not getting to breathe fresh air. And another serious issue was, and continues to be, the lack of movement, which may eventually lead to muscle atrophy, and not only. But we're not here to dive into that. because I could go on for days on the topic. Back on the quarantine and online learning. So when the quarantine was officially installed in our country, the entire population was forced to stay at home for 2 weeks. The schools and the universities did not have to think of a way um, to organize the learning process, given the fact that it all happened so fast. And most of the teachers were quite old and weren't really acquainted with this whole system of like hosting a meeting, actually using the platform. And this kind of caused my academic performances to go down and more gaps formed. Although I consider myself to be quite an ambitious person with big plans for the future, and this whole mess just brought me down and kind of brought me into a period of stagnation. And I was constantly asking myself, like, why haven't I been productive today? What am I even doing with my life? And having this self-destructive monologue in my head that needs to run 24/7. But it took me some time, and I analyzed my current state, and in time I just realized that I've got all this time to get to know myself more, to work on my goals, and why waste it? Um, I have no idea why I realized this so late, but it's better than never, right? I also began to study on my own. Like I was doing the schoolwork, and in addition to that, I was doing some extensions. Like I used to download these books to learn more, maybe in English, not only in Romanian, to enlarge my vocabulary on the topic. And the online school schedule allowed me to pay more attention to the activities that used to be a priority for me, such as fitness and other types of sports. This was something that truly was a catalyst to my overall mood, as well as disciplining and motivating me to carry on. And online classes were also a challenge because I could hardly get myself to listen to what the teacher was saying, because around my room I have all this colorful stuff and all this distracting stuff, and I just look around and I don't really realize what the teacher is saying. But I take it as a life lesson. Now I have gained more experience and added new essential skills to the set. Um, you know what they say, this might be a blessing in disguise. So to sum up, there are some bad aspects of the pandemic, such as the virus itself and its influence on the population, this lockdown creating problems of all kinds and so on. But on the flip side, there are plenty of positive effects. This has probably been one of the biggest trials that the humankind had to overcome, even though it's not the worst. We have computers, we have phones, we have all this facilities. People back then didn't have any medicine at all, so they used to die so much, such as the plague, another So if a global pandemic can stop you, nothing can stop you. And to finish off on a positive note, I brought you a quote by Winston Churchill. So the pessimist sees a difficulty in every opportunity, but the optimist sees an opportunity in every difficulty. So take your time and think about it for a moment, and thank you.
Okay, so very appropriate quote. Yeah, so that's very good points made in your speech, Andrea. Yeah, okay, so you said that these colorful things, okay, can distract, but sometimes they help you, yeah? So all this home atmosphere can help you as well, yes? Not just distract, am I right?
Well, not really, because I like to have my room filled with interesting stuff and colorful stuff, like my makeup palettes, my I don't know, my perfumes, my stickers, and I just can't help but look at them, and I'm kind of zoning out, and it's not really good.
Okay, so good. Any questions? So the right questions in the chat. So maybe you felt the same. Maybe you agree or disagree with something. Okay, so just react somehow. Because yeah, so you are making very good speeches and you are making very good points in your speeches. And okay, so but anyway, I would like the reaction of the listeners as well. Good. The next speaker is just I'm going to share just a minute the screen. Yes, and make sure. Okay, so we have 20 more minutes. Okay, so make your speeches. You have 5 more minutes for you. Corina. Corina, are you here?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So please, yeah, we see Corina. Corina, yeah, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Karina. I am a 10th grade student at the Aristotle High School in Moldova. Right in a second, I will start speaking about the pandemic situation and all of its and some of its consequences, those that I have seen happen to others and those that happened to me personally. However, I'd like to say first that COVID-19 was, of course, something that none of us had expected to come about. All things considered, I think we tried our best in an environment full of fears and doubt, while in the meantime, everywhere around us, tragedy occurred. When the schools closed last year, the main question was, how are we going to learn now, especially since our exams were coming up? Nobody was prepared for such a sudden change, because relying on technology is still seen as a strange thing. It was almost ironic for all the times we have been told that we should go out more, should stop depending on our phones and computers so much. Now we were stuck at home with just technology as our company and also our only salvation. We had to adapt quickly, perhaps too much so, because many classes weren't as effective as they were before. The online board was difficult to work with. The connection sometimes wasn't strong enough, too much homework, and too many expectations from teachers and students alike. While everyone is trying to keep up with all these tasks, we also have to deal with the fact that terrible news was all over the internet. Panic was spreading, which meant that we'd be stuck at home for the unforeseeable future, without some of our family and friends. I saw people taking many risks in order to meet up with them. In a way, I think it is understandable. Even for the most introverted, not talking to any person at all was hard. We missed each other. I myself got tired of having to see just my parents all the time. I needed some diversity, which books and movies couldn't give me enough. And when a person is lonely, they start to change themselves a bit too. The negative news and the burnout that school caused made me, and maybe others as well, prone to irritability, emotional exhaustion, and stress. That's why arguments and conflicts were so common. To deal with everything, some of us had to get creative. I've heard of people cutting and dyeing their own hair, putting on makeup and dressing up, even though they had nowhere to go. I cut my clothes. Nothing too extreme, but I wanted to do something fun that I've never done before. My mom had quite a shock when I let her see. The school year ended quickly and slowly at the same time. However, that's mostly because we're in the present, talking about the past. At the time, the days started mixing up, leaving me confused as to which decade we were in. That's what happens when you don't leave your house for 2 months and a half. In the end, schools remained closed, COVID spread, exams were canceled, and a lot of the curriculum remained unlearned. Flash forward to the end of February 2021, the announcement came that schools were closing again. This time, though, I'd say we were better prepared. We were better equipped, and we knew what to expect, especially since we already had a few encounters with online learning with some of our teachers this year. This time, there's, in a way, less stress. I've also found that mostly nothing has changed, except the fact that we're learning through our computer screens now. We can still reunite with some of our friends and family, which is probably the best part. Last year, we couldn't do that, but now, if we're cautious and responsible enough, we can. Now, more and more people are getting vaccinated, which makes us hopeful that all this situation will be over soon. I like that everything is better than last year. I could even say that I'm more comfortable than I was before, if I had a choice to keep studying from home, I'd gladly take it. Classes, I think, are as interactive as they were before, especially the English ones. However, the main aspect I love is that we don't have to wake up very early to go to school. 7:30 a.m. is quite better than a full hour and a half earlier. In addition to that, I spoke to many of my classmates and friends, and we all agree that our environment is really cozy at the moment. We can focus more, pay attention to the things we consider important, while at the same time trying to maintain healthy relationships with one another. My class definitely got closer, although a lot of us do miss the hugs and the fun we had during break of school. My own relationships with some people also got stronger. I've even made a couple of new friends, which would have been a complicated process for me in real life. I was touch with others, which is also fine. What the pandemic has shown me is that distance alerts us to the fact that we are all kind of living different realities. It made me think and realize the truth about certain things, and even grow as a person. I'm a lot more content than I was a year ago, and I hope that others can agree. All in all, I think that we can take a lot from this experience. We can take the bad, learn from it, and do our best to progress, and we can take the good and let it become even better. The nightmare is gone, and now we're waking up. That's it.
Thank you very much. Yes, I like the point about waking up, yes, in the morning. So you now you wake up yeah, much later than when you had to go to school. Uh okay, very good. And Corina, yeah, I guess you have, yeah, Corina, somebody liked your speech very much. Yes, okay, that's a very good sign. Yeah. Good. Done. Now you are the next one. And it's about online learning. Yeah.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Dan. I wanted to thank first for the opportunity to speak here and share my thoughts and feelings and so on. So I will start with my speech. So in January 2020, I was in school when I first heard the term coronavirus. At first, neither my colleagues nor some of my teachers took seriously what happened in Wuhan, China, believing it to be fake news. We didn't know what to think and what to expect, and no one would have ever thought that a simple virus could lead to a pandemic of such magnitude. As of today, more than 144 million cases of COVID have been confirmed, with more than 3 million deaths worldwide, making COVID-19 one of the deadliest pandemics in history. COVID-19 caught us completely off guard. It struck the entire Earth population unawares, and it radically changed our lives. The pandemic has had a tremendous impact on all fields and areas of life, resulting in significant global, social, political, and economic disruption. COVID-19 has also affected educational systems worldwide, leading to the total closures of schools, universities, and colleges in an attempt to reduce the spread of the virus. As of February 2021, approximately 825 million learners are currently affected due to school closures in response to the pandemic, and globally 1.2 billion children are out of the classroom. The first quarantine we were subjected to has begun in March 2020 and lasted until the end of the summer. This meant closing our borders, closing leisure spaces and educational institutions, limiting access to public spaces and social distancing. Consecutively, schools have switched to a new way of teaching, online learning. This process was something completely new for both us and the teachers, and besides the advantages, were also disadvantages. The good part is that we'll have learned to use relatively new platforms such as Zoom, Google Meet, Google Classroom, etc. We got used to keeping in touch with colleagues and in the online environment, and we can say that we had a freer and less stressful lifestyle. At that time, the biggest drawback was the lack of communication and socialization in person. Although this house arrest vacation meant an easier period from the educational point of view, it was also a rather painful time of social isolation. And so it was for 3 months till the end of the school year. Due to the state of the emergency, we could not write the final exams, and we did not get the chance to have a prom to graduate from gymnasium or a decent separation from the former class and team. The summer between ninth and 10th grade was different from the summers before, not so much because I did not leave the country, but because of the unpredictability of what was to happen. During the vacation, although I did not succeed to hang out with my friends, I managed to spend some quality time with my family as we traveled around the country and had the opportunity to discover new and beautiful places. At the end of August, I received the wonderful news that I was accepted to study in the high school I am now. Luckily, school began and we were able to attend the lessons offline, but with certain restrictions, such as respecting social distance, wearing a protective mask, and meticulous hygiene. From September to March, everything went pretty well, but when the number of COVID cases began to grow exponentially, the state of emergency was re-established and we switched to online education once more. To this day, I mean the day I wrote the speech, April 24th, we are still online. From what I have personally experienced so far, one thing is for sure, we can do better than that. I'm not an expert in education, and I know that teachers make a huge effort during these difficult times, but as a wise man said, modern problems demand modern solutions. There are many good examples of schools, including ours, which have been able to reconcile effective learning and ensure the safety of health of students, teachers, and communities during the pandemic. But when it comes to online studying, that's another kettle of fish. When we think of traditional classrooms, we think of a teacher in front of students talking about a subject and assuming everybody learns at the same pace. When it comes to knowledge, transmission technology has become really good. But if we have a teacher just delivering a lecture on Zoom or another platform, that's not very effective. That's basically old teaching using new technology. I'm not blaming our teachers or judging their way of teaching. I'm just blaming the system. I think we need to change our pedagogy and capitalize on the opportunities of technology at making learning more and more interesting, more engaging, more personal, more granular. In this way, we will use technology and also teaching at its best. Although convenience and comfortability are two major benefits of online education, the biggest drawback deals primarily with the time management and technology. For students like me who are prone to procrastination, online learning can be difficult to coordinate and motivation can prove to be a real struggle. Besides that, the diminished level of social interaction weakens the high school experience for me, which leads to online learning having a stigma around it. Even though it may sound peculiar, as I'm approaching the end of 10th grade, I am feeling a mixture of anxiety and excitement. To be honest, I would prefer in-person classes, but I think I can deal with online learning as well. Despite the COVID-19 crisis, I am keeping my hopes up and I'm sure that together we will work everything out. Thank you for your
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Dan. And I like your point about discovering our country. So the pandemic period gave us the opportunity. That's very good. And indeed, so we need modern solutions. Yeah. And maybe because of pandemic, many teachers started to use technology in the process of their teaching, which is very good. Yes, okay, so that's also very good. Maybe they are going to change their way of teaching when we come offline. Yes, okay, so starting to use and including technology more and more in the process. Okay, very good, Dan. Thank you very much. And let's see the next one. So I guess we have a comment in the chat. Yeah, okay, really good speech. Yes, good. And let's see, Loriana.
Yes, hello. I am Lorena Ioniță, student in term form at the Aristotle Lyceum, and today I would like to share my thoughts and opinions on the pandemic situation and its effects on our studies and lives. As we all know, we find ourselves quarantined because of the coronavirus, with no effective remedy found and a vaccine that was created not so long ago. But hey, let's look at the bright side. Starting with the scientific name of the virus, SARS-CoV-2 implies SARS-CoV-1 also existed in 2003, to be more specific. Since this is the second time we're affected by the virus, I'm confident we shall find a way out again. Until then, let's talk about how the current situation affects us students. We have switched to online classes, which worked out to be much less effective than I thought, in my opinion. And why so? There are several reasons. First of all, it is more difficult to focus when you have a cat or food or your phone or any other distractions available at all times. Also, it is harder for some teachers to use technology and explain some things through a computer. And let me give an example. Think about the time you are in first grade and we're just learning how to correctly write the letters. The teacher would take your hand and show you how to correctly write each letter and move it to create the letters curves. Now imagine how those children learn to write letters through a phone. Even worse, put yourself in the place of a teacher, struggling to explain how a particular letter should be written. Not to mention that little kids can't really use technology well. It is very hard for them to understand the subjects while studying online. Secondly, students our age have thesis, exams, and baccalaureate, and have to deal with this after many months of online studies. This puts an extra pressure, thus becoming more stressed and worried. This is the point where students' health suffers, affecting the posture, eyes, the sleeping schedule, the self-motivation, and ultimately the marks, of course. And in the worst cases, this leads to anxiety caused especially by the self-isolation, taking into consideration the need of people our age to interact with each other and to socialize. And of course, it is not very fascinating to spend the most beautiful years of our lives mostly staying inside of our homes instead of going out with friends, going to school daily to see our teachers and classmates, to share our thoughts and opinions, and of course to make memories. But a coin always has two sides. So let's look at the advantages of a situation. First of all, we shall all have an interesting story to share with our grandchildren, and we will be seen as heroes by them. Getting back to present, we have the perfect occasion to go for walks and admire the beauty of nature more often. We also have more time to spend with our family, more time to do the things we love and to develop ourselves. All this, of course, only if we take the efforts to do so. I believe that when the pandemic is over, our immune system will be stronger and we will be less likely to get sick from usual sicknesses in the future. We have learned how to become more independent and how to respect the hygienic rules we didn't normally follow before, like washing our hands and avoiding touching public areas without disinfecting them at first. Personally, I think I have tried a lot of new things during the quarantine, such as cooking more often various types of food. I even prepared whipped cream coffee, one of my favorite beverages at the moment. I have started drawing and reading more books, and also dedicating more time to studying the subjects, my favorite subjects, such as chemistry and biology. And I have even created my own board game, a Monopoly game based on some of my favorite Netflix series. The main idea is that everything is possible if you have the will, despite all circumstances, and we can draw opportunity out of any situation. Let's take advantage of all the benefits these times have to offer, and when you have lemons, make lemonade.
Okay, so that's good. When you have the pandemic period, okay, so do online teaching and online learning. Okay, so that's good. I liked about your point about sharing the experience with our children and grandchildren, but I don't think it'll be something unusual because many, okay, or they will they will do lots of online learning in the future and becoming more independent and okay, so paying more attention to hygiene. Okay, so very good points. Yeah. Good. Thank you. Very good, Lori. We have 2 more minutes until the end of the session, but I guess we can take some more time. So if you do not mind. So yeah, okay. Is that okay? Because we have one more speaker, Bianca Serbu, and we started a bit later. Okay. Yeah. Good. Bianca. So the last but not least, as we say. Bianca, are you ready? Are you here?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, good, Bianca. The floor is yours.
I'm going to talk about students' perspective on online school. Working from home is something we all have to do. And learning from home comes with advantages and disadvantages, with challenges some overcome easier than others. Studying online calls for a greater amount of self-motivation than traditional classes. Before online learning, students didn't need to use technology as much, meaning they didn't have as much knowledge about it as they have now. Online classes can be perceived as more convenient than physical classes. Students have stated that with online classes, they have been able to fit more into their schedule than before. Some students have said that online classes can be more engaging than traditional classes because teachers are trying to explain topics in simple and fun ways to keep the students from getting bored. So they use videos or other interactive platforms. Using videos also helps students learn the material better, as they can always re-watch the videos and make sure they understand everything perfectly. Online classes are said to be more comfortable because students can study from their own homes, which can also help them stay focused. Online school is also better for the environment. We use less paper and students don't travel by cars to and from school. Last but not least, online learning helps students be more confident when talking to the class. Students that were shy and didn't interact in the classroom during physical school are now feeling more comfortable about expressing their opinions and speaking up during lessons. For example, in my class, students who used to be shy now speak up freely and ask questions and engage in conversations. Most people think that students have it easiest during this pandemic because we can search up answers online and we can cheat on assignments easier than ever. But how can we know students' true opinion on distance learning? I conducted a survey asking students of different ages questions about their experiences while learning online. All questions were multiple choice. Let's take a look at the results. I have interviewed students from Heritage International School, and 27.3% of my respondents were from primary school, 50% were from secondary school, and 22.7% were from high school. According to my survey, 36.4% of students find online school easier, and 31.8% are okay with both online and traditional school. I asked the students if their grades have improved since they started online school. 36.4% said yes, and 18.2% said a little bit. Focusing on school while being at home can be challenging for some people because of the many possibilities. You can always pretend to pay attention while being on your phone. I asked the students of Heritage International School the question, have you ever struggled with focusing while learning online? And 45.5% said no. Using digital tools has also been an important part of online learning. I asked the students what tools they used and which tools they liked most. Most people said that they used Bluekit or Google Forms, and most of them said they liked Bluekit the most. I can say that online learning has benefited students in many ways because they have improved their digital skills and have become more responsible about their learning.
Okay, so yeah, Bianca, very, very impressive speech. Yes, especially about the survey. So were students just from the Heritage School or from other
It
school?
was easier to interview the students from my school.
Your school, okay. So, and very good point about shy students. Okay, so I had lots of students who were very shy and not eager to speak in offline classes, but online, okay, so they were very good, and I was impressed by their results. Okay, so what did you say about cheating? Because I didn't catch good point or bad point about cheating.
Oh, I said that while being online, some students may be tempted to search up answers. But when I asked the students at my school, they said they're not having trouble with learning online and they're not tempted to search up.
Okay, so and if you give time limit, some students do not have time for cheating, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, it's good. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions now at the end? Do you want to ask students that have presented any questions? Okay. So I was impressed. I personally was impressed by your speeches, and you have proven very good English, very good grammar, so very good vocabulary. So you even used idioms, phrasals, verb appropriately and correctly, quotations, very relevant to the topic. You have proven very good public speaking skills. Okay, that's very good. And critical thinking skills. So you have proven that you can, analyze things and pinpoint advantages and disadvantages of online learning. So in our case, yeah, I'm really impressed. And if you do not mind, those who listened, could you please in the chat, okay, so write an adjective, okay, or two adjectives or as many as you want in order to Okay, thank our speakers and appreciate their speeches, okay, and their efforts they have made. So could you please do that in the chat? So right, amazed, impressed, or excellent, or anything. Or even reactions, I don't know. Thumbs up or anything. Okay, good. So we have one, yes, inspiring, that's good. Yeah. Marvelous with some good, very good adjectives. Yeah, okay, even fancy. Yeah, educational. Yeah, okay, it's a good. Staggering. Amazing, good. So it was very nice experience. Yeah, illuminating, even enlightening, we can say. Yes, fascinating. Okay, so good, very good. Yeah, well done, everyone. Yeah, really well done, everyone. So, and I guess I have had the happiest hour in my life. So during all these pandemic periods. Yes, okay, hearing you all and sharing your experiences. Okay, so anybody who would like to say something at the end? No. Okay, good. Yes, then we are finishing. So, and you can join so the other session, okay, also student session at I guess at 2 p.m. Yes, you have to consult the schedule. Okay, thank you again, and bye. Have a nice rest of the day, and take care of yourselves. Stay healthy until the end of pandemic period.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Have a nice day.
Same to you. Goodbye.
Bye.